Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello guys, welcome to Global Happenings today. We have a trending news here for you, and the headline of the news reads: Oshiomhole plan to become vice president to a northern elite will cause him to fail Tinubu. See details. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube.
Alright, Chief Charles Idahosa, a former commissioner for information in Edo State, on Friday said Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), will disappoint Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, a national leader of the party, on the issue of the presidency 2023. Speaking in an interview, Idahosa, chieftain of the party, said while Tinubu is supporting the embattled national chairman with the hope of assisting him to get the APC presidential ticket in 2023, Oshiomhole's ambition is to become a running mate to a northern presidential candidate. I feel so sorry for Tinubu because he doesn't know who Oshiomhole is. I'm aware he is one of those giving him support as the national chairman. Oshiomhole will disappoint him seriously. He will not support him in 2023. He can take that to the bank. Tinubu is one of the people supporting him as national chairman, thinking Oshiomhole will use his influence as national chairman to make him get the ticket. What he doesn't know is that Oshiomhole's ambition is to become vice president to a northern presidential candidate in 2023. He's going to pay a northern candidate against the interest of Tinubu, he said.
All right, thank you very much. That's a serious one, and we have observed over time that these guys have been overly quiet. Adam Oshiomhole, especially about this case of presidency 2023. Sorry, but before we go on with details as analysis, we'd like to just consider some of the reactions of Nigerians in respect to this information by Charles Idahosa. This one said, not only Oshiomhole, the South will not and never support Tinubu in 2023. We can't replace a thief with a thief. And this one says here, Nigerian politicians are jokers. Politician is always a game of selfish interest, especially in Nigeria. I wouldn't be surprised if Oshiomhole betrayed even his own mother, talk less of Tinubu. This one said, I wonder where they find these people who don't even know the law of their own profession. There is always a law that says you cannot take the oath to an executive office more than twice. This same law is what stopped former President Goodluck Jonathan from ever contesting for president again. It also stopped former Governor Fayose from contesting for governor. The vice president has taken the oath of office to the vice president twice. He cannot take that same oath again. Hence, he cannot be vice president. And the last one here that we are going to consider says Tinubu and Oshiomhole na padi. So this mumu talk doesn't add up. Moreover, Oshiomhole is one of Tinubu's loyalists who cannot go against him. All right, that's where we are going to leave it. We just want to discuss these seriously because there have been a lot of talks about this issue of presidency come 2023. It has never been like this in the history of Nigeria, that 3 years away from a particular period where elections is about to take place, already people are clamoring for it. They have started discussing it. It's really amazing. Now, it's like in 2015, people start discussing 29. It didn't happen. At least it must be at least 1 year to that time. You hear people talking about it. But this issue of 2023, it started even before the election of 2019. And it's really surprising, which means our politicians are overly desperate and they want to take over this position by all means. And the South here are saying, that Southwesterners are saying, we need it. The Northerners are saying, power can never slip out of our hand. A lot of war is going on. A lot of backstabbing is going on and all of that. But the judge just came up at one point and he was like, hey, he's going to go in for that position. And when he did that, the next thing we say, he started complaining that he has been receiving a lot of phone calls from Nigerians that he did not even think of it, that it is meant for Bola Tinubu. A lot of things have been happening. Now this one is saying that Oshiomhole has a plan of, frustrating presidency ambition of Bola Tinubu by vying for the position of, the vice president under a northern elite. And that's one thing that I find it very difficult to discuss. But before then, I want to talk to my colleague who is here in the house. What do you think about this assumption? Do you think that Adam Oshiomhole, based on the things that have been happening thus far, has a plan of, going into the office of VP under any northern elite?
Well, I have actually seen that poster before. I saw it, but the challenge was he came and debunked it. He said those are activities of his enemies, that he for one will never start talking about 2023, that the presidency barely entered office, so why should they be talking about 2023? They should finish the tenure of Buhari, which is actually very true anyway. But he debunked it, that it didn't come from his camp, neither did it come from his supporters, but it did come out anyway. But one funny thing about politics is the fact that it's a game of interest. Unfortunately, you don't have permanent friend, you don't have permanent foe, you only have permanent interest. If come 2023, Oshiomhole sees the game and sees the radar and everything seems to favor him to be the vice president, why not? If not, why should he want to give it to Tinubu? Is Tinubu not a man? He's not a man like him. Why would he want to? Is he, if he becomes the vice president, will thunder, will heaven fall? But then if he looks at it and finds that it may be very difficult for him to take the day as a vice president, he may try to put his weight behind Tinubu. But don't forget, he may want to go for it, being that they not have decided unanimously, even though they are not saying it. But feelers coming from all feelers, you are seeing that they have every intention of retaining power in the north. And if they have every intention of retaining power in the north, which means it may be very difficult to get presidency on that platform 2023. So the best way to do is to vie as vice president for somebody who you feel will have hope of becoming the president, so you can just come in as vice president and get something good out of it. But yes, it's possible that interest here comes. Politics in Nigeria is a very dirty game. If it takes you backstabbing your own person, why not? It's just a case of we come and no hard feelings, but don't worry, the next one will be yours. But for this one, let's take the day. It has always been happening in politics. That's become a norm in politics, where your very best friend ends up being your enemy. Look at what's happening right now. Before now, it was a case of as if Buhari and Tinubu were sesame twins. You get to see them. He's always backing Buhari in every decision Buhari does. You see Tinubu coming up, supporting Buhari, that Nigerians is going to see a beautiful change and all that. But all of a sudden, we are not seeing much, oral talks from Tinubu concerning Buhari's tenure. Most times he keeps silence more than talking. So it clearly shows that the marriage, or so to speak, the love that they had then was on the grounds of politics, and is no longer favoring him the way he thought it would this time. So you see, anything is possible. Towards the end of 2022, we begin to see everything will begin to unfold itself. That's if Nigeria still remains as an entity.
All right, thank you very much. That's a good one. And just like she has said, no permanent friend, no permanent interest. Only thing is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. It's just the interest that matters a great deal. And everybody in Nigeria, one of the things that is most synonymous with Nigerian politicians is the fact that desperation, you see desperation in the eyes of everyone. So even if it means for me to kill you and take over the position, or even to trade the long-standing friendship that we've had for years, trade it on the platform of politics, I don't mind. And that is what we have encountered thus far in Nigeria. We've seen people cross-carpeting to the other party just because they wanted to secure a position. And I think that's really going to be the case. But the question is, who is that northern elite that will be able to accommodate someone like Adam Oshiomhole? Don't forget that Adam Oshiomhole is not just an ordinary man. He has gone through a lot of senior positions. I'm talking not really senior positions, but positions that requires so much aggression and all of that. And he's one person that has.
He has never been the vice president.
He has never been. No, he has never been. I'm coming from somewhere. Now, he has been as the Labour. Chairman of national chairman of NLC for a reasonable period of time, and during that his time, we saw how he was raging with the government of the day. It wasn't easy, in Edo State. When he became the governor, he kind of put everybody under his subjugation. And now that he is the APC governor, or APC national chairman, we've seen what he has done. And most of them are really, really forceful. Those achievements are quite forceful. For example, there's been a lot of complaints from the northerners. There have been a lot of complaints from even the southerners that he tries to impose. Even the current problem that is going on in Edo State between him and Obaseki is because he wants to be forceful. He wants to force people on one another. And that is one trait that a lot of people run away from. If you grant him the opportunity of being a vice president, it may possibly result to him overthrowing that president with all the powers that he has to become the president. So a lot of them are already very scared of him. They want somebody who can be cop, somebody who can be control. And I think that Adam Oshiomhole cannot be controlled. He will be exact replica of personalities like Atiku. Remember when Atiku was being given the position to work as a vice president, he gave Obasanjo real tough time. And I can assure you, anyone who wants to take him up as a vice president must be ready for that tough time, and which I feel that these guys, their eyes is so open that they will not want to, give him such an opportunity. But all the same, anything is possible, especially in Nigerian politics. So let's just put our fingers crossed and wait to see what will unfold by the time we get to 2022. All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section. Let us interact. What's your position about this assumption? Do you think that the likes of Tinubu will be frustrated or disappointed by Adams Oshiomhole talking in consideration to